Hello, hello. This is Allison Coe. I am a hypnotherapist working out of Portland, Oregon, and I have another wonderful session for you today. And let's see, this client is the return of the psychic. We had a session not too long ago. Before that, a video I made with Egypt and the Essenes. Very beautiful, powerful session. And she's back. So let's go ahead and get started. And it's a beautiful one. It definitely addresses some of the fears that some of us feel right now with all of the wars going on and the threats of wars and threats of recessions. So hopefully this will address some of your fears, and let's head into it. So we open up with her saying that she feels like she's in the astral planes. All right, let's begin. I feel like I'm in the astral planes where people go in between lives. It's kind of indoors, like a room. What can you tell me about this room? There's desks, almost like where we could have a meeting or a round table. It's a circular table. Are there others at the desk or is it empty? There's a group of beings that are coming in to sit down for the meeting. Okay, let's just be in observer mode for a couple moments. What can you tell me about the energy of the room and the beings in it? Well, it just shifted. It includes like a Merlin character, and then there's these big blue beings, and then there's one that looks like a reptilian, and then beings from all different planets. Is there anything in the center, or are they just kind of looking at each other? Just looking at each other. It's almost like desks in a circle with nothing in the center of the circle. Actually, they're showing me now there's a model of Earth or the galactic hemisphere with different planets. And in the center, there's Earth. And some of it's lit up and some of it looks dark, almost like there's bright light coming from some of it and some of it looks dark. And they're talking about how to get all of it lit up. Do you feel like you yourself have a place at this table? Yeah, they just pulled out a chair and said, I'm welcome to sit down. And before you do, let's just focus on you really quick. Let's start at your feet and move on up, and you can walk me through what you look like. I feel like a blue luminescent being, not a solid blue, but blue-ish, similar to the Avatar movie, but not a solid form with and a little bit more white in it. Okay. Anything else you want to tell me about yourself? I feel like if I wanted to, I could have gills, that if I went in water, I could breathe in water. Okay. And is the top of your head kind of bare or do you have hair? It's more bare, kind of like the things that you see when you look at a dragon with things pointing out the top. What do these things pointing out the top do? They can sense energy. They can also communicate. So when I'm communicating with the people in the circle, the points can communicate with anything around me. They're like a warning thing. They can sense frequency. Okay. And what do they tell you right now in this place? All the people in this room, even the reptilian, which I was a little hesitant about, are working for a galactic kind of federation where they all have the same mission. They're telling me they don't call themselves that, but they're all a galactic team and are in a meeting to discuss all the different races of beings in the universe. And then they're showing me this bright light above the model in the center, almost like they're comparing it to the law of one, and it's just pure light. What does it feel like to access that light? It just feels almost like if you're going home to the brightest, most powerful frequency of the world. It feels like if you go in there, you feel home. You're complete with the mission. Shall we take the seat at the table if you haven't already? Yes. Okay, this is exciting. And maybe you can relay to me what they've come up with for spreading more light. This is interesting. I'm looking at the people at the table. There's Merlin, which he kind of winked at me. Jesus is actually there too, but he can change form. I'm more comfortable with that side of the table than some of these other beings. As I'm looking in the center, it's like they're pulling beings off to the side that need to go into, they're calling it like a disciplinary area. Those beings were holding a darker grid force, and it's as if they just pull them out and off to the side, like in a courtroom. And then as I'm looking at the model, if they place different people or different high frequency energy in different areas of this model, the light starts to return to how it was supposed to be. And it's just a model in the middle. It's almost like they're deciding what to do. And there's somebody that's talking and saying, well, what if we put this here or this there? How can that help or affect it? And then they're showing me that somebody that's supposed to be really powerful is not getting it and they're not stepping into their role. And then they're showing me somebody that's in another country and saying, what if we move them over here? And then that will help hold this high frequency grid. So they're just kind of moving people around. And for this model that they're working with, are they able to see across time how this will spread light or not spread light? They're showing me if you look at King Arthur's time or Jesus' time or the ancient Egyptian time, if we take the darker things out of those areas and place them off into that courtroom, and then we activate the buildings or even crystals in certain areas, it's almost like there's no time. They're looking at it as if there's no time, and they're working on every time period on Earth and adding light to it. That's what it looks like. Interesting. Okay. There's even a dinosaur period too. Okay. What do you see for the current time period and the parts that need to shift, or are they showing that? Let me head over there. It's almost like I have to get up away from the table and then go look over in that spot. Jesus is sitting next to that spot. And actually, there's a big bluish white light coming into it. And then I'm seeing people grabbing their papers like a meeting had just ended, and they're stacking them up almost as if they're getting ready for something to happen. And then it's as if everybody at the table stands up and they blast a light at that area. Actually, they're showing me at every area in time and space. They're blasting it in with a bright, bright light. Even the area of the courtroom is getting blasted with bright light. And then it's almost like the whole model turns to like a flash of light. And then the area above that, which felt like home, merges into it. And it just almost like you can't see the difference between the time periods. It's just one big bright light. And then they all move up away from this into, I heard the ninth dimension, where they have a similar table, similar people. There's contracts that need to be discussed, completed, and finished, and they're signing the bottoms of them. And then they're putting that into the light. And then now they're moving up to the 12th dimension. There's a big boom of light. And then they're like, do you get it? And I said, no, no, I've seen this, but I don't. I don't know. Okay, can they explain it to us in more detail or maybe show it to us in more detail? Okay, there's like a scientist that's showing me a light bulb that's turned on really bright. And he was showing me like the older light bulbs where there's that little wire that turns on. He says it's like almost like it got turned off. And then he unscrewed it and put on an LED light, like one of the swirly ones. Uh-huh. And he says you just put a cap on it, like kind of how some of them have like that little white thing, like a frost on top. And we couldn't, it's almost like the light bulb couldn't see above because the cap was holding it off. And so I unscrewed that one and put on something I've never seen before. But it's a bright, bright light. I think he's going to go further with this. I'm like, okay. And he's showing me that on the base of the light bulb, my light's dimmed and there's a cap on it, and now it's completely open to where I see everything and I know everything. And he's expanding my energy as if I am everything. I am just light, which I understand, but I don't know how it's helpful, I guess. Okay. And then he's showing me everybody at the table, all the beings, and they all represent a part of me. We are all just one, all races, even galactic races. We're all just of this light and one. Now he's taking two light bulbs and he's hitting them together to show that they were trying to dim the other light, as if all the light bulbs, all of us, were trying to fight with each other. And it was just dimming and breaking the lights. And he pulled them all away and turned them all on so they're very bright. And now they seem to all have the same mission. And then they get to go back into the bright light above, which I feel that means don't compete with other people. Just go into this bright light. The light bulbs are a metaphor to people. Are they able to kind of zero in or zoom in to the ground floor of what it will look like for beings on a planet, say on Earth, when this flash of light hits? Can they give us that glimpse? He showed me that we were the dim light bulbs that got turned off, and he is showing me that they are taking the cap off the frosty light bulb. They're taking that off now. And then he's showing me this bright, bright light, but it's almost so bright that we wouldn't have been able to see. So they had to start with the frostiness. And then when the bright, bright light hits, your eyes have trouble adjusting to the frequency, to the light. But he's also showing me not everybody sees it. Some people still have their light dimmed, and those people don't even see the bright light. And then everybody that sees it just starts to walk towards a portal. Everybody around them that doesn't see it, they could care less about whether those people are seeing it or not. The ones who do see it go straight to this big beam of light and into this portal of light. And then as soon as everybody enters, it's not quite a spaceship, it's just a portal of light that then transports them. And everyone with the dim light moves over to an area, kind of like where I saw the courtroom. It's a similar heavy energy like that. And the rest of us are transported. After we're transported, they're talking to us, or they're taking us to an area where we're greeted by spirit beings. It's almost like they all have a clipboard and they're asking us, okay, what's your name? Okay, yep, you go over here, you're over there, you're over there. And they point us where to go. Some people are entering into what looks like spaceships. Some people signed up for this new Earth energy and they're skipping ahead over there. Some are heading to other densities, other vibrational frequencies. Some just feel like they completed a mission and they're just going to take a break for a little bit. They're just going on vacation, it feels like. And they're just greeting all these people coming into the light. That's what I'm seeing. Beautiful. Okay, which one would you like to follow? I'm going on vacation with those people. It was like very playful, fun energy. So it's a good sense of humor. Let me see where we're headed. We could actually go wherever we want. It's almost like we could look at and just observe those on New Earth if we want. We could look at those going to the spaceships if we want. With thought, we can move any place. But a lot of us like to go to this one area that has a lot of water. It's on another planet. I feel it's Sirius B, and we're just hanging out together and laughing and discussing what we were just doing and laughing at the whole process and things we experienced and everything. We're just having a good time. And I feel like I'm just on a lawn chair, just kind of chatting with somebody, laughing at everything. Or even laughing like at the people on New Earth. They're still very much learning stuff as well. I'm seeing guides going onto the New Earth to assist them with more education as they continue to learn. They're showing me that some of them still have a little bit of ego that they're working through, where they thought they figured a lot out on Earth, but now instead of them being the teachers that they were playing on Earth, they're being taught. I feel like if I've taken a break and then we'll go through more. They're showing me an activation into our energy field at another level. I was wondering about that. And now I'm curious, what will happen to those beings who are left behind? What do they experience? Will they be able to show you that? Yeah, as I peered in, they all look like they're in a slight hypnotic state, kind of in a trance. They're going about their day like everything's normal. But I have the question of, did they know that we all left? And I'm hearing no. And I have the question about family members that didn't leave. Hold on. They're going to show me my family. It's almost like they forgot about me, kind of. They're just going about life how they always do when I'm not there. Do they ever get the opportunity to enter the light? Oh, weird. It looks like there's actually a robotic version of me, which I kind of don't like, that's sitting in the room with them, like an avatar. Let's see, the parents, the time will just pass when it's their time. Actually, a group of us left from my family, more than I thought would leave. I feel like the rest are just still learning, and some of them won't leave till many years down the line. But the option is always open for them. Beautiful. Okay, I'm curious. Has this option become available for people in recent years and we just weren't aware of it? What would they like to tell you about that? They said, oh, yeah, so many have left already. And were there avatars that existed in their place? Or what did we experience when they left? We didn't notice, just like the other people. We just continued as if nothing happened. We did notice an influx of people on the planet, like there's more people. They're also showing me a merge of timelines. Oh, interesting. It's almost like parallel timelines merged together. It's almost as if another version of you merged into a timeline, and also a friend that you're connecting to merged with a friend from another timeline, and you may not feel a connection to them anymore. And so you kind of let them go. So there's almost more people in a merger, but then they're showing me that there's still another timeline where people are still playing over there, like another version of you on another timeline playing. Okay, so this light, like you said, it will affect all timelines, all time at once. So when we look at the contemporary timeline, what will we notice? Is that light going to hit us now, or do we have to wait a couple years from their perspective? When will this happen for us living in this current world? It feels like soon, like in a year or so. It's interesting. They're showing me all timelines are merging together. So it feels more like more and more people are moving to your town and you're merging with different aspects of yourself, growing and moving up completely out of 3D. Like all your parallel lives are moving. And as soon as that happens, you can move up and out. So they're squishing all time together. And then the pressure makes people look up, almost like they're pushing something together as you move up. It's hard to explain. I'm so visual, but they're showing me in a year or so. There's going to continue to be an influx of light coming in. And it's almost as if people are getting everything in order, like almost getting the rest of their paperwork done. That kind of feeling, as if you had a report and you're finishing up the report. The report looks like contracts that you had made, and you're just looking through the contracts and seeing if there's anything else that you missed or that you need to look at. And as soon as the book of contract closes, then the shift happens. But they're showing me not everybody that's shifting is going at once. It feels like different groups are going at different times. But it's almost like there's an opening and people have the opportunity to take an opening in the next year or so. Very good. I'm curious, if someone's maybe not ready to see the light, how would they become prepared so that they can see it? Well, they're showing me if somebody's not ready to see it, they're not ready to see it. There's nothing that we could really do. What happens is they will hear about different beliefs, different systems, things to try to remind them of that light that's dimmed inside of them. Almost like the light bulb is getting really dim and how to light it up. But you can't force them to change. It feels like it has to come from within. They have to have the decision to do it. I'm curious, what if someone desperately wants to see the light and they feel that they're ready, and then a year passes and they're still here living this daily drudgery? What would you want them to know? Or can we ask them that? They're asking, well, what is that person avoiding? What are they not looking at? Why are they looking for a way out? Oh, interesting. Can they give us some examples of why a person wouldn't, even though they'd want to see the light and they think that they're ready? What are some of the things that may be holding them back? Well, they're showing me a depressed person who is just focusing on leaving in the light, but they're not focusing on a sadness inside of them or an anger inside of them or what's actually going on inside of them. And they're showing me if they can transmute those emotions inside of them into this light frequency, it actually matches the light instead of repels the light. So when you have this anger or sadness inside of you, it kind of pushes the light away. But when you transmute it into the light inside of you, you can become one with the light. Would they like to focus on you and see if there's anything in you that needs to be adjusted, healed, or transmuted that could benefit you today? Well, it looks like still some sadness from not this lifetime. There's still a little bit of anger and a fear of missing the boat. And also me trying to even comprehend what happens to the people that don't leave actually keeps me back a bit too. I was being stuck with people continue without me. Do they forget about me? That actually holds me back as well. What do they recommend that you do for those things to clear those out? If I sit with myself, I can feel the sadness. They said I could just take a look at where it comes from and what happened. The sadness is also combined with the anger. I'm sad and angry about what happened. And if I look at it and transmute it, that will be helpful. And also, I have to believe. I have to believe that miracles could happen. Would they like to tell you what may be holding you back from that belief? It's the leaving people behind, actually, that's mostly keeping me stuck here. I have a fear of hurting people because I've been hurt. That's also one reason why I'm detached from people, too. So it's easier for me to leave, but they're also showing me if I find my people that are all leaving, that will help too. So a lot of people I'm hanging out with aren't leaving. So to go find the group of people that are fun and playful that are leaving, and then we can get a place of that energy and leave together. What do they recommend that you do to find those people? I almost feel like I have to move up to another timeline to find them, still on Earth, but just a higher timeline. What do they say about that? I can feel the people, but I don't know how to get to them. Okay, we can come back to that. No problem. So let's talk about this light. They said that it may come in the next year or so. Was and they go throughout the year. Was that what they said? Yes, but I also see something happening in the next several years over. But those are different occurrences where the portal opens up. So it looks like different waves of openings. At our current levels of light, how many people do they see going in this first wave? They said the first wave already left. I feel like they said only 5,000 went. Okay. I say that that's not very many. I'm asking if it's 5,000 on the whole Earth or the US. I just got 5,000. Very good. And the second wave? 35,000. Okay, so not very many. And do they see you going on the second wave if you do the healing that needs to be done? Yes. Okay, I'm curious about the timing of this with the timing of what's ramping up in the world right now, with the wars going on in the Ukraine and the Middle East and in Gaza, these extreme polarities that are being caused for people to experience right now. Is there any relationship between those things, those two things, from their perspective? It's just a distraction or a test to see, are you going to still play in this game or are you just going to focus on the light? It's also kind of making people go within and start focusing on themselves so that they get ready to leave as well. Those that are into the education mode, their lights are pretty dim. They're not leaving for a while. Oh, interesting. Any other insights that they have to the polarities that we're experiencing right now and how it affects people? They're asking if it creates fear. You can't really move until fear is released out of the body. So all the polarities are creating fear in people. Fear of war, fear of not having money, fear of not having food, fear of not having this, that, or the other. And anything that you have fear of is something for you to look at. And if you release all the fear, then you're getting more ready to go. You're just focusing on the light. Because within this light frequency, there's no fear. It can't exist. They're saying everything that's happening on the earth plane is making you aware of any fears that could still reside within your body. What is the easiest way, from their perspective, for someone to get rid of a fear, to fully transmute it? Well, they're showing me, if you remember your light inside of you and you focus on who you really are, not on who you're playing. So you're playing on the earth as if you could suffer. But if you remember who you truly are, that you're this eternal light, there's no fear. I don't play the board game Monopoly, but they're showing me, if you're playing Monopoly and you get put in jail or you lose all your money, that if you actually believe you are that version and you start getting really afraid, you will start fighting with the other players and you could feel like you're stuck in that game of Monopoly. But if you remember you're just a player and that you could even clear the game and start over with a new game, then there's no fear. So just remember that you are playing a game. Perfect. And what else would they like to show you in this place? Anything else occurring after this light, after the kind of frosted top is taken off the light bulb and people are separated? And then the ones that are taken to this kind of neutral staging ground, they go off into their own separate areas. You mentioned that then an energetic adjustment happens at some point, an upgrade, if you will. Do they wish to tell us anything about that or show us anything else in this place? Well, they're showing me I have light codes in my body, and there's this large spiritual being that's activating them back into my body. They're always there, but they were dormant, and they are activating them where I have more knowledge, wisdom, and even superpowers where I could fly or teleport. They're showing me, though, that this can't be activated with that sadness inside of me or that anger because it can mess up the energy. So the energy can't fully run with those emotions there. Once I get to that area, I won't have those emotions. But they're telling me I have them in this area that I'm playing on Earth. The light, the light that's coming onto the Earth right now is starting to activate it in our bodies. And then we become more aware of what's stuck. And then we have to look at that. And then they activate a little bit more energy. And then when we see what's stuck, and then they activate a little bit more. Even with every event on the planet, we see what's still running inside of us. Some people don't have any reaction to events. They're barely aware that the event's there. Not because they don't care, it's just that they don't have to look at it, where other people get over emotional or reactive to it because it's still inside of them. Would you like to ask them anything in this place? Well, I feel like they're telling me I have to see what happened, why these emotions are still inside of me, this anger and this sadness. Okay, would they be willing to show us? Yes, I get a little bit of fear, but they are. You are very supported and protected. I feel like I need to go a little bit deeper to see it. Okay, let's see if they'll take you and give you a glimpse into the life, maybe making a portal for you to view it, to travel there. Yes, I can see glimpses. I see a few lifetimes where people have their throats slit right in front of me, or killed right in front of me. In a lot of those lives, I then end up alone. Okay, I'm viewing these glimpses. Is it obvious to you where this fear is coming from, the sadness and fear? It's watching people that I love passing and not having control over it. They're asking me, so if I remember that I'm of the light and they're just playing a part and then they go back into the light, why would I have fear that they got to transition out of where we were? And with that, I just feel a shift of my body. I was playing so human that when something died in front of me, it affected me. And so then they're showing me the person playing human and then transitioning to a light. Why would that make me sad? And I say, I don't know. I don't know now, but I did feel that before. And now they're just showing me all these different accidents where people just transition. And it's almost like none of it matters, which just seems that makes sense in this energy, but we sure feel it when we're on Earth. And they're telling me that's because I got stuck in the game. So they're showing me where I'm stuck in the game. I'm stuck with when people die, I have these emotions. They're also showing me when people die, I want to blame something. If there's a fire, people die, and we look for the blame instead of just looking at it as an event that transmuted. They're asking me also, did those people sign up to experience this? Yeah, probably. And then they're asking me if those people are real, which to me it feels like they were just part of my game that I created. They weren't really player characters, they were filler people. And now they're taking away all the filler people. They're showing me all the people that actually are on Earth. And so the 5,000 and the 35,000 shifting actually is a bigger percentage of real people in my reality. This is interesting. Would they like to tell you how that previous perspective has been affecting you in this life? This fear of people dying in front of you. It made me hide, go within, and not really open up to people. They're also showing me that the filler people really irritate me. They create an anger emotion inside of me, almost like they just don't get it and they're filler people. I feel really angry when I meet filler people. They're not very smart, kind of idiots. Can they give us an example of more personality traits or characteristics of filler people? Well, the example I got was going to the store today and I get my hot chocolate with vanilla in it, and they forget the vanilla. And even though I just asked for it and I paid for it, like, oh, stupid people can't get it right. It feels like people in my life that play a role to irritate me, to make me look at stuff. They're not doing their jobs right, and they're just taking up space. And if I try to talk to them, no matter what I say, they just look at me like I'm kind of an idiot. I feel like they just made a joke about me being a Karen too, as if that was placed in my reality to make me look at when I get angry at people. They're kind of laughing because maybe I created that. I get angry at people not doing things right. They're laughing at it because I make jokes about it all the time. Would they like to show you if you're holding on to anything still from the Essene life that may be affecting you now? This is the past life I'm referring to that we visited in a previous hypnosis session and was on the previous video. Okay, getting back to it. That's where a lot of it started, and the Lemurian life. It's like the same game every time I come and play. As I'm going to the Esteen life, I'm in a group of my people, real people. We all came down and we're all playing and having fun and doing our thing. And we're in this walled city just having a good time. And then we open our doors to other people, and those other people come in and they learn, and then they think they know more. And then they try to teach us, but they have it all wrong. And then they try to get followers, and they started creating a divide within our society where before we got along really well. And now they've created a divide. It's interesting because none of my people are actually leaving. It's just the people we allowed in. They came in, learned, and then they left. But then they decided to place judgment upon my people for not doing what they believe. And my people are just staring at them in shock, like, what the hell just happened? We sat there and we taught you. You guys got a belief and thought you knew better, and now you're judging us. And we're just staring at them like we don't know what to do now. But then they decided that they need to turn against us and start to kill us because their belief is so accurate and ours is so wrong that they need to remove anyone with our belief. They try to kill us, or some of us, and then we all have to go into hiding and hide our beliefs and not share our beliefs with anyone else. And those that started killing us, we had to just let them speak while we were quiet. So we all lost our voice. Anyone from our group that tried to speak up got killed. And that other group just grew, it grew and grew and grew. And our group just became quiet and observant and frustrated. That was the Essene life. Okay, would they like to tell you, beyond what you can already guess or know, what's affecting you now? Anything you don't already know from that life? Well, I already know that sometimes when I speak up, people tell me I'm wrong and they want to tell me it right. Everyone except for my people. They said, what if we placed you in a world with just your people? And I said, well, that would be great. And they asked what I would learn. Well, I would learn a lot from those people. I learned how to grow and to ascend in a whole new enlightened way. And they're asking me if I would like to do that. And I said, yes, of course. And then they just said, well, who do I need to forgive? And I said, well, all the other people. And they're asking me if I have. And I said, no, I haven't. Now they're looking at me like, well, why? Almost like, why am I still hiding from the other people? That's why I haven't met my group of people even now, because I'm hiding from all of the people out there. And then they're showing me Lemuria, where I lived there. I was happy at my place. And then we let these Atlanteans come and we showed them our ways. And then they decided to attack us. So every lifetime we show our lovely, happy way. And then we get attacked over and over and over again. I just do the same scenario. And I'm saying, yes, I understand, but I don't quite get how to stop this scenario. I'm asking, will forgiveness actually just take me out of this density, releasing anger and fear? And they just asked me, do I think I'm right? And I guess I always have. Like when I was the Essene, I thought that our beliefs and what we were doing was right. And when I was Lemurian versus the Atlanteans, I thought I was right. I guess I thought we were of love and of love light, and we were right. And I don't quite understand why anyone would attack to prove they were right. They show me, they put anger inside of me to understand why anyone would act a certain way to help me forgive. So I left my love and heart and just get anger so I understand why people would attack. I just went into hiding mode where other people react a different way. Sometimes when I'm dealing with people, I do attack back and they're asking, does that make it easier to forgive? And I said, yeah, I can see their point of view more. I don't quite I don't quite get why they attacked us in Lemuria in the first place, though. Would they be willing to tell us? Yeah, they're taking me over to Atlantis. In Lemuria, we had these bright, big crystals that we had in certain places that helped with creating our frequency. And the Atlanteans wanted them to create lasers, and we said no, and that upset them. There's a limit of resources. They're showing me one guy who just wants to control everything. I don't understand because everyone has a lot of light. I don't understand how this guy got here in Atlantis. Let me just go ask him. He told me he represents a lot. The devil, the dark, the reptilian, everything he represents is bad. And I asked him, why are you here? And he said, why not? He's taken me to a computer. He said, I work for the computer. There's a huge machine, a computer. This computer was creating brain waves for people to believe a certain thing. They even created holograms of people, which were the filler people and the avatars as well. So there's still my group of the real people, and then there's a computer of programmed people. I don't know where this computer came from when it started, so I'm asking about that. It's huge, and it's almost like the computer has a consciousness that controls itself. I don't know how it was created in the first place. I'm going back in time. I'm flying back in time before the dinosaurs, before the ice age. There's a big bang, and we all come from this big ball of light, which is just light and love. But they said, you don't think there's a little part of that that might have a resistance to itself? Then it separated, and this computer energy was formed. So just like I have to heal the anger inside of me, the big light of all existence has to heal that energy, which is like a whole other game in and of itself. And so we have to heal every little aspect of every part of our being. This bigger light is healing every aspect of every part of our being. That's why it's healing all time, space, timelines, everything on earth and other dimensions. They're telling me it's really big. We can't do it all just as me, as a human, as myself. I have to do it at different levels and layers to understand. But he is telling me you can forgive the computer and the computer can go back into the light. I want to go back to that Atlantean guy that was programmed. I'm asking him, why are you working for the computer? And he just said, why do you think I'm not a computer? Interesting. Now I see a bunch of computers, and then our group of people, everybody else is a computer or a hologram of the computer. And the big flash of light is taking the people, our people, back out. The rest are just computers or a hologram. That's what it looks like now. So forgiving the computer, interesting. So we have some questions today, and I'd like to know if we should go on to the higher self to ask these, or if that group of beings would like to address these. They say either or. Okay, well, let's move on to the higher self now. Okay, moving on to the higher self. And she switches back and forth, by the way, between she and me, meaning she may speak of herself as she, and she may speak of herself as me because she's hearing a lot of it. So she's just relaying it. Okay. Now, I know you could have brought forth many different lifetimes for her to see today, but you gave her that glimpse into that roundtable meeting about how to manipulate and adjust for more light to come to the world or the multiverse. Why was that important for her to see today? She needed to see how much light was already on the planet, because there is a way more light than there was of this heavier dark energy. And it was so, so close. They're also showing how we need to move different energies to get ready for the light to happen. She feels sometimes far away, but it is so close. What will she notice as this light gets even closer, as it's very imminent? What will she notice within days or a week? She'll notice more light in her body, and all her fears will start to be removed out of her body. She'll also notice that she feels less and less like she belongs where she was playing, detaching from all aspects around her. She also will notice the world around her shifting a little bit day by day, little changes. Beautiful. Now, she was told what she needed to do to prepare so that she can be a part of this second wave leaving. Is there anything else you'd like to tell her about that, or anything you'd like to offer today to help her with that? Now, they're just showing me to add a lot of light into my body and into every cell of my body to recalibrate to this high frequency light, to imagine I am pure light energy, and keep adding more and more in and connecting to this bright light above me. I've already done most of what I need to do, and there's just a little bit left, but I'm pretty much ready to go. And they said, especially after today. Very good. And would they like to tell you how important it is for you to forgive the computer in this process, if that's important at all? They're showing me I've already forgiven the computer. It's more of those working for the computer that I still need to forgive. Yeah, just those working for the computer. So when I look at the big, big computer, almost have a love for it, but I have an irritation towards anything it has brainwashed. Similar to how I love me, but I get irritated with parts of me. That's how it feels when I look at the computer. I love the computer, but irritated with some parts of the computer. Okay. Do they want you to focus on any other healing needed from the Yassine lives that may be stopping you from showing up? Yes, that occurrence where some beings killed our people for sharing their information or wisdom, and the fact that people died when they were sharing, I need to heal that belief that sharing means death, or sharing means that somebody's going to tell you you're wrong, go gang up against you. It's interesting. It's as if the computer was programming people to have this belief to create it into my reality. And I could create another program where instead of people feeling like they're against me, they're actually for me. And since the computer and reality is part of the big ball of light, if I talk to that part of it and ask it to add more loving, supportive people into my reality, I could do that. They're showing me I could have some control over the computer. Like I can become the projector instead of allowing a broken part of a higher being to control my projector. I could control it. It's almost like an ego version of a higher being of light. And I could imagine the heart of it, not the ego, is controlling all aspects of my reality. I get the shift in my body. I understand it, but it's hard to put into words. Okay, circling back around to what they originally said. So, what your belief is currently that sharing or coming out, spreading information or beliefs means death, what would they like you to switch that belief to? What is the actual truth? That was the lie. That was your belief. What would they like to tell you is actually true? They want me to imagine the hologram I was in and move over to the hologram with my people instead of the hologram of those that are against me. And then I feel very happy to share. I've created a hologram of my people, and I don't mind sharing with my people at all. It's almost like I adjust reality in a way. I see. Okay. So, for example, you were able to share your last session on YouTube, and it affected a lot of people very positively. I'm curious from their perspective, what do they see happening if you share more of yourself and your messages? How will that affect how many people are actually prepared for this next wave? They're telling me that those people are already pretty much prepared, but I get to meet my people. Those are my people. Those that are affected in a positive way or resonate with the message, those are my people. Those are the ones I'm looking for. So if I share, I get to connect back with my people from Lemuria, from the walled city, and from other planets. And it feels very safe with those people. It feels like home, actually. I feel that fear of sharing went away. Good. Okay. Now, one of your questions has to do with sometimes you hear in a session that your own client is in a safe zone from the big event, and you're asking, what does that actually mean? Can they tell you what that means? Oh, it's that they're going in the next wave. They are safe. They've done the work. I thought it meant a big wave or a big war or something. They say, nope, they're in a safe zone. And if they continue with their progression, they'll leave. They're right where they need to be. And the big event is a flash, the next flash. Thank you. Now, we were wondering about this attraction to narcissists and why the pattern is still going on and how to heal from it. Well, narcissists are telling you that you're wrong. So you had to heal from the group of people that always were telling you that you're wrong and go up against you with that fighting energy, lifetime after lifetime. You're going up against that fighting, that you're wrong or right energy. So until I heal that, they'll continue to show up. So the narcissists are there to remind me that that program of I am wrong and somebody else is telling me they're right is still in my reality. You're not safe to speak up when you're with the narcissist. They use every word against you. What do they recommend that you do to shift that into a healthier pattern with your remaining time here? Or do they recommend that you do anything at all? Well, connecting back with my people that make me feel like I'm at home and knowing that I'm safe. Remembering that we're just light frequency, transmuting back to who we really are. Okay. I'd like to ask about the vision about the screen and people watching the earth excited about something starting. It's starting and they're eating popcorn. What would they like to tell us about that? They're interested in what we're going to do next, but there might still be more events where people are wondering what's going on, making people scared. But then I'm also seeing a big flash. Things are coming at people, and then I see the big flash, and I'm wondering why dates change, with this flash. And what do they say about that? They ask me, well, did it? Okay, what would they like you to know about the variability of these states? Well, it looks almost like a portal opens up, a bright light, and I see this beautiful purplish white light coming down into my body and a huge shift. And then I feel like I want to go to sleep. And once that happens, all the programming or emotions inside of me get transmuted while I'm asleep. And then I wake up and I go to another dimension. But more stuff starts to happen before then. They're also showing me dates and time don't really matter. It's me getting ready. So are they saying that you shouldn't worry if this doesn't happen by a certain time? They're showing me having a date makes us attached to something instead of makes us aware of our own ability, as if I get to do whatever I want instead of actually just adding in more light daily, knowing that I'm in control of the date. They're showing me it's almost like if you have a report and it's due by February 28th, but we'll give you a little extra time if you need it, but you can actually hand your report in early and you don't have to wait till the last day, procrastinate and do it all that day. You're getting ready for it. So the date tells us to start getting ready for something, to hurry up. People hand in their reports late sometimes. Very good. What can be done to improve your energy from exhaustion to something more energetic? Adding more light into my body. Exhaustion's the heaviness of being human, and I need to add more light energy into me. Being human is exhausting. So I need to add more of who I truly am instead of playing a role of a small human that has to hide. When I sleep, I actually feel more like me. So that's why I like to sleep. And what do they recommend is a good spot for you to finally put down any roots? Or is that even necessary at this point? It's not necessary. With the changes going on right now, at the time, I'll know what to do or what I want to do. Okay. And from their perspective, what do you need to do to align yourself with the man you desire? Anything you're not already doing? Opening up my heart chakra a bit more. When I go out, I feel like it's human out there. And so my energy shuts down a little bit. And so it's not attracting my team to me. And he's part of my team. So I just opened up my heart chakra. Okay, good to know. And any trauma from Lumeria that needs to be healed today? I know we already visited that during the life experience portion, but anything else from their perspective that needs to be healed there? Well, that's what they took away. They took some of the people I love to do research on their brain, and that was very traumatic for me. And having my people captured and locked up was also traumatic for me. Going back to forgiveness for kidnapping my people. In the Essene and Jesus' life, I could tell that they wanted our wisdom and our knowledge. They wanted to tell everybody that they were right and to not take our wisdom and knowledge. So all of it has to do with wisdom and knowledge. It's inside of us. And in Lumeria, we knew how to use a bigger portion of our brains than them. So they wanted to learn how to do that as well. And so they did research on us. They're also showing me I shut down that part of my brain so that nobody would want to do research on me in this lifetime. So I need to activate that. And then everything would start to come together a little bit more. We use such a small portion of our brain, and they told me to start using more of it. Okay. Would they like to tell you how to do that? Well, I feel this gold light coming into the back of the head, of my head. This light is connected to the gland out of my third eye and down to my heart chakra. I have to turn on a dormant part of my brain through light and acknowledgement that it needed to be turned on. I'm also aware that in Lumeria, I could shapeshift. So I was asking if I would be able to do that again. I know I've done it a few times in this lifetime to a dolphin, but I don't know how to do it on demand. And they said, with activating that part of my brain, I'll be able to do it again. Okay. And do they have any final messages for you about anything else you need to focus on in the months ahead that would aid you in healing, pulling in more light, attracting your tribe, and getting ready for this big event, this next wave? Just activating my brain, opening my heart chakra, adding more light, looking at any of my fears or anything that I need to forgive, and any of my triggers. Also, detaching from everything that's at this density to get ready so that I can move out. And do they wish to help you with any of those things today? No, they're done. And that is the end of our session. Powerful, lots of information. I would love to thank my client, and she is wonderful. And as you can see, she's got a great sense of humor, and it's hard to read some of this stuff without laughing because of how she's responding. I can actually hear her voice responding. So I hope somebody benefited from this. I hope this helps somebody out there. It's great information about what to do when you're faced with fears, what to do when you're faced with resentment and holding on to anger, how necessary it is to release that stuff to let more light in. And I just wish all of you the best out there. This is not the easiest time to be alive, but as they showed us in this video, we are bigger. We are playing a game here. And when you can kind of detach from that, it allows you to let more light in, and all of us are healing this light. So much love to all of you out there. I hope you found this helpful. All right. And if you're interested in your own session, reach out. Okay. Bye-bye.